Hi, everybody. My name is Jacob Gardner, and this is my library assignment for Writing Workshop 3 Comics. So, out of the 5 comics that I presented to Mr. Mann, what he picked for me was Something is Killing the Children. Let me try to get this in focus a little bit more. There we go. There's the back of it. This is produced by Boom Comics. It is written by James Tynion IV. It is illustrated by Werther Dell'Edera, and then it is colored by Miguel Muerto. So the comic length is 168 pages, and it's not technically a graphic novel because this is volume 1 in the series. I believe there's been 9 other ones added, with the 10th one coming soon, to my knowledge. So, with that being said, the recommendation part of this question is difficult for me because the friends that I have, we all like horror movies and we all like a lot of gore and stuff like that. So, would I recommend this to my friends? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Would I recommend it to a classmate or another professional? If they're into horror, yes. If you are not a fan of horror, absolutely not. This is such a good story. It centers around these kids that are going missing in Wisconsin. And there's been a lot of child deaths. And they are trying to figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden, this lady, Erica Slaughter, shows up. So the problem with all of these things happening, they can't catch what's doing it because the adults can't see the monsters. Only the children can. And there are some very tough to watch and read, I should say, scenes in this book that I thought were extremely well done. But they did give me some pause. I will say that much about it. But the story centers around these kids and another character named Tommy, whose sister was taken a while before the book starts. And then Erica Slaughter comes along, and Erica Slaughter can see the monsters. In fact, her job has been killing them. So while the story is about the children, the central character is going to be Erica Slaughter, as far as I've gotten so far. With that being said, she does have a solid character arc in the way of this first volume. We kind of get to know her and what she's really doing there and what all is going on behind the scenes. The other person who has a solid story arc is Tommy. Tommy originally thinks that Erica Slaughter is the one that's been capturing and killing these children, his sister included. So he takes a gun and goes to confront her about it, only to see the monster for himself. So we're still waiting to figure out why the monsters can be seen at will and sometimes not. But there's a lot that goes on in the story that I I don't want to talk about because I'm worried it might be inappropriate for school. Not in the way that it's anything sexual or anything like that, but it is. When I say it's extremely gory, I mean I'm talking individuals split in two and pieces missing, a pile of bodies. It's really dark, which for me is awesome. I absolutely love that. But for other folks getting into graphic novels and comics, this would not be something I recommend. So, in in way of transitions, it does have really good transitions. So, like we get this page here, which is our big title page after the first 4 pages, I believe. And then as you go, the chapters are separated by this symbol. And then you roll the page over, like we talked about in class. Boom, page 1, page 2 starts the story. So it does follow our model. Where it seems to get out of shape with that is that there are chapters as opposed to acts. As in, I've read a couple other comics since we've been taking this class, and those definitely had different acts as opposed to chapters. But I was able to separate the chapters, or the acts rather. So The Act 1 finishes on page 26 when Erica meets the young boy and she tells him, "I'm here to kill the monsters." That kind of sets us up for going into Act 2, which starts on page 28. And then moving from there, Act 2 carries all the way to page 85. In my opinion, Act 3 is very quick because we go from page 85 to 168 very quickly. With that being said, this has some of the best examples of transportation in a comic because it moves us from a scene in the police station with the young boy getting questioned to another scene where they're being ripped to shreds. Takes us back to another scene of Erica showing up, takes us to another scene of the police station, and it goes back and forth. As far as taking that storyline and moving it from one end to the other, it effectively does that in volume 1, because what we end up finding out is at the end of volume 1 that the monster isn't just Solo. It's a mother is what she refers to it as, and that her babies are out in the woods. So we're left with this cliffhanger of there's a lot of extra stuff going on that's going to be a good time to figure out. Let me get my questions. I apologize. So it does use the effect of Page as a mini comic very, very well. I would like to reference that actually. So we start here on this page. This is where they have just gone shopping for weapons and are getting ready to go hunt the monsters. We start here with them walking. He's asking some questions. She responds. We get to the end of him asking a question. She says, "Okay, shoot." So that in itself is a little miniature comic because we've started with the scene, the setting, everything's been talked about, everything's been gone through. Now we're setting up for the next page, which is going to be its own comic book as well. So the movement of art does really pull the reader through. The problem I had with this that took me some getting used to, I'm not going to lie, I had to read this twice. Partially because I woke up too early, because I have kids, and secondly because there is a couple of transitions here where the story peeks through in such a way that it is somewhat difficult to follow. Give me 1 second, I apologize. Okay, so if we're looking here at this page, right, we see the wagon on this page, and then the girl, and then Erica standing there. This page, this set of pages, actually reads across and across. It doesn't read just boom, 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 boom. So that took me a minute. There's a couple of scenes in here. The rest of the scenes very much fit that artwork description. Somebody's pointing one way. The dialogue bubbles are pointing another way that makes sense. So again, the only other observations I have relating to anything else in the class is I really enjoyed this. Thank you, Mr. Mann, for picking this for me. Just full transparency, I bought the other 4 comics that I wanted to read, so can't lose with a full revolver, right? So I cannot recommend the writing of this enough if you enjoy horror stories. This is truly something that is spine-tingling, mixed with violence that is excessive but not overdone. So again, as an observation, it's very different than anything we read in class, but very well worth it. The only fun fact I have for this that I was able to find is that this is getting made into a TV series, I believe, on Amazon. So I have already ordered the next 4 issues and will be continuing to buy more. It's such a good story. The artwork is so awesome. And if you're a fan of murder mysteries mixed with monsters and you don't mind violence, give Something is Killing the Children a read. You will not regret it. I hope that everybody has a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.